Hello everyone, I am Ratika Roy Bhattacharya. I welcome you all on my YouTube channel Study Together with Ratika. We know that microbes are either useful or harmful to us. The video on useful microbes we have already discussed. You can find the link in the description box. Today in this video, we are going to discuss about harmful microbes. So we know that all the microorganisms do not cause diseases. A specific term is given for those microbes which cause diseases and the term is pathogen. So only disease causing microbes are known as pathogen. In the diagram here, we are able to see several microorganisms. It is not necessary that all of these microorganisms are pathogenic in nature. Some of them are pathogenic and some of them are useful to us. The pathogenic microorganisms cause diseases. There are basically two types of diseases, communicable disease and non-communicable disease. Communicable diseases are those diseases which get transmitted from an infected person to healthy person, whereas the non-communicable diseases do not get transmitted from one person to another person. In this diagram, we will see what is the basic difference between communicable and non-communicable diseases. Communicable diseases are mostly caused by microorganisms, whereas non-communicable diseases are not caused by microorganisms mostly. They are most of the time caused by accumulation or lack of several minerals in our body. So, these diseases are never transmitted from one person to another person. Now we see the sources of transmission. Quickly we will go through the flowchart and see how the microorganism leaves an infected body and enters a healthy body. These are the common agents: bacteria, fungi, virus, protozoa and parasites which cause diseases. The reservoir means those organisms or non-living things on which these organisms can survive. They can be people, equipments, water or food. Now the portal of exit means how they leave these surfaces, either through excretion or secretion or droplets. Now the mode of transmission means after exiting a body, they are in search of a new host, so they may enter our body through droplets, through air, through direct contact or vector-borne. Here I would like to brief about vector-borne diseases. We will take an example of malaria disease, which is caused by Plasmodium protozoa. We know that mosquitoes are the vector or carriers of Plasmodium protozoa. When the mosquito bites any healthy body or healthy person, they transfer the Plasmodium. After entry of this Plasmodium into healthy body, it starts causing disease which is known as malaria. Now we will see what are the portals of entry. Either microorganism can enter through respiratory tract, the tract through which we respire, whether it be bronchi, bronchioles, esophagus, windpipe or lungs. After entry, the microorganism can settle on any of these organs and start growing there. Next, GI tract, the gastrointestinal tract. mucous membrane or the skin. Yes, the skin is also one of the organs through which a virus can enter our body. After the entry into a healthy person, these microorganisms start causing disease. Now, the susceptible host means all those persons who are vulnerable to be infected by these agents. The first one is people with chronic disease. Chronic disease means the disease which is undergoing for a very long period of time. Immunocompromised means the diseases in which our immune system becomes weak, like diabetes and AIDS. Very young people means children under 5 years. Then elderly people more than 70 years of age. So these are some of the people who are most susceptible host. After the microorganisms infect them, the cycle goes on like this, and these pathogens infect one or the other person. Now, diseases in humans, the entry we have already seen that pathogens enter healthy body, and the pathogens can enter through air, water, food or soil. The diseases caused in humans can be communicable as well as non-communicable. The common diseases caused in humans are tuberculosis, chickenpox, polio, cholera, typhoid, etc. These diseases are very harmful for our body. If proper and immediate medical facility is not provided, then these diseases may lead to death. Sometimes a disease can be epidemic, endemic or pandemic. Epidemic, when a disease spread to a larger area or a larger region. Endemic, disease caused to a particular group of people or a small area. Pandemic is also a type of epidemic which spreads over multiple countries. This was all about diseases in humans. Diseases in animals. The entry of pathogens is similar mostly in animals as well as in humans. Some common animal diseases are anthrax, leptospirosis, bovine tuberculosis, and foot and mouth disease. These diseases are also very harmful in nature and they affect the dairy and meat industries as the production of meat or milk drastically decrease. People who eat such infected animals also get infected through the same microorganisms. Diseases in plants. The most common plants which are infected by pathogens are wheat, rice, potato, sugarcane, apple, etc. The microorganism decrease the productivity of the crops. When the productivity of crops decreases, the farmers have to bear a great financial loss, the result of which we can see on the buyers also. We as a buyer have to pay higher amounts for the normal crops. The most common examples of the diseases are citrus canker, rust of wheat, yellow vein mosaic of okra, blight in rice, and cucumber diseases. These diseases can be prevented by spraying chemicals and pesticides. But the use of chemicals and pesticides should be discouraged because this affects the health of the farmers as well as the quality of the crops being produced. As we know, microorganisms not only cause diseases in humans, plants and animals, but they are equally responsible for the spoilage of food items. These are some of the food preservative methods that we are going to discuss now. Food preservation means to preserve the food or to prevent the food from spoilage. If the food is kept in such a condition that they are not infected by microorganisms, it is said to be preserved. The first one is canning and bottling. In this method, first of all, the cans and bottles are sterilized. Sterilized means they are made free of microorganisms. After sterilization, the food item is filled into the cans or bottles. After the food items have been added, preservative is added. The common preservatives are sodium benzoate, oil, or citric acid. After the addition of preservatives, the cans or the bottles are packed so that no oxygen can enter into the bottles. This decreases the chance of growth of microorganisms in the cans or bottles. The next method is dehydration. As the name indicates, D means removal, hydration means moisture. Dehydration method mostly applies for those food items which have moisture in them. For example, fruits, vegetables, meats, fish, etc. The moisture is responsible for the growth of bacteria and fungi. So, in this method, the food items are first of all washed properly. After washing, they are dried in presence of sun. They can also be dried using a dryer. After drying, they are either cut into the desired sizes and then packed in packets. The next method is pasteurization. This is applied on milk. The fresh milk is taken, which is sent to the heating section. In the heating section, it is boiled for 30 minutes at 72 degrees centigrade. After boiling, it is rapidly cooled at 12 degrees centigrade. This boiling and then rapidly cooling decreases the number of microbes which were growing in the milk. This process also decreases the activity of enzymes, and this process never changes the taste or the quality of the milk. After this method, the milk is packed in either bottles or packets. The last method is pickling. This is used for pickles. The desired food item is first of all washed properly. After washing, they are normally dried and then cut into specific size. After cutting, they are dried. Then they are packed in bottles. After packing, preservatives like oil, vinegar, salt, citric acid, etc. is added. Sometimes spices are also added because in spicy condition microbes are not able to grow. So this method is also used for retaining the freshness of pickles. So this was all about harmful microbes. In our next video, we will be discussing about RDT, that is recombinant DNA technology, and nitrogen fixation. Thanks for watching the video. Do subscribe to my channel for the latest updates.